today to do my review of Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. I just reread this book with my husband. We read it out loud over the 4th of July weekend, and it was such a delight. So, just so you know, if you have not read this, don't worry, I'm not going to be spoiling anything in this review. So you are safe to continue to listen. So, an overview of this book, you have Wade, who lives in this world where there's high unemployment, high homelessness. Life is just a travesty, and it really does feel like that, like there's just not a whole lot of hope in the world. However, in this world, you have what they call the Oasis, which is a highly immersive virtual reality world where you not only do you play video games like, you know, in the sense of like World of Warcraft or any other like online role-playing game that you can play with other people. You not only play video games, but you can go to school, you can go to high school, you can go to college, you can work, you can just play, you can meet someone and get married and never have met them, and you can be whoever you want to be, you can look however you want to look, you can be any race you can think of, and it's just, you know, so you escape into the Oasis because actual life is just a travesty. So you find Wade, who is this 16, 17-year-old boy, and his life is just pretty bleak. He's finishing high school, and life just doesn't look like it's going to be holding much option. The only thing that gets him through the day is what is called the hunt. Rewind about 5-6 years before, you have James Halliday, who is the creator, co-creator of the Oasis, and he is a huge game designer. He is, you know, this multi-millionaire, trillionaire person, and when he passed away, he put out this video where he had hidden this Easter egg somewhere in the Oasis, and whoever finds it gets to be is going to be the heir to his fortune, to his company, to the Oasis. And so you have the whole world who is hunting for this Easter egg, and Wade is what is known as a gunter, who is someone that doesn't just, you know, like do it for fun or do it as a hobby, hunting for this egg, but it's like his whole life. And he not only is searching for the egg, but he does all of the research. There's this thing called the Anorak's Almanac, which is basically like the Bible to Halliday's life, and all things that he enjoys, from comic books to movies, from video games to TV shows, and all of it really does center around the 1980s, because he absolutely loved the 1980s. That's when he was a teenager, and he grew up in that time, and he absolutely loves everything 1980s. So this book is riddled with 1980s pop culture. If you like the 80s, or if you grew up in the 80s, you will like this book because it has so many references to the 80s. It's just fantastic. And so reading this book with my husband, who he was a teenager in the 80s, I was, you know, 5. He knew a lot of these references, so there'd be time when I was reading it, he's like, oh yeah, and he would go off on this spiel for about 20 minutes about this one thing, and for me, it gave a lot more depth to the story because I fully understood the meaning behind this reference, and it was really fun because my husband could, you know, gave a little bit more depth to the story, but you do not have to be an expert on 1980s pop culture to enjoy the story. So, with that said, okay, moving on from the 1980s. So, it's just an amazing story of adventure, of friendship, of the danger of, you know, online role-playing, but also how it could bring out friendships, and it can bring out adventure and this great story. And I have to say, I absolutely loved first reading it the first time. When I first read it, I compared it to the first time I played Super Mario Brothers. I plowed through this game because I had to know what the next level was going to look like, and what the next world was going to look like. So I just had to keep going. I had to keep going. And that's how I felt when I first read this book. And it was just the same as rereading it, because even though I knew where the story was going and I knew how it was going to end, I had missed lost a lot of the detail of just the first time I was reading it, so I picked up on a lot of extra detail. I got a lot more background of the 1980s, and it was just as enjoyable the second time. I caught more things, and it's just like I got to revisit an adventure that I absolutely loved the first time, and it did not disappoint the second time. I highly recommend this if you are a fan of video games, if you're a fan of role-playing, of, not even just like video games, but like Dungeons and Dragons and any kind of, actual role-playing game. You will love this book because it is so fantastic, and the writing itself is just amazing. It's so good, and like there's a lot of information that you do need to know with, how the Oasis works or how the world is, but Ernest Cline does it in a way that doesn't feel like he's just like info dropping on you, where you're like, okay, I've just spent 5 pages getting, reading a history book of the Oasis so I can understand how to go, or reading the instruction manual. It really was done in a way that really fit the story, and so you were experiencing along with Wade, or you were experiencing along with what he was doing or whatever, and so it was done in a way that was storytelling, but giving you the information that you need. And so if you are looking for a good adventure story about a kid that just wants to triumph over evil and wants to beat down the villain, I say pick up Ready Player One. It is a fantastic story and just as enjoyable the second time around as the first time around. And plus, I didn't know this until the Lawn Gnome told me about it. Steven Spielberg, if you don't know, Steven Spielberg is making the movie. It's coming out, I think, next year, and I cannot wait to see what he does with this book. So, yes. So, again, as I've said many times, go read this book if you have not. If you've already read it, read it again, because it's so fantastic. So, that is Ready Player One by Ernest Cline.